All right, let's dive right in. We're going to tackle a really big question today. How do these incredibly powerful AI models we keep hearing about actually connect to the outside world? And the answer sets up this classic showdown. You've got the old guard, APIs, versus this new challenger on the block, MCP.
So let's start with that fundamental question. How do these AI models actually do anything? How do they get external data, or call a service, or use a tool? How do they break out of their digital box and interact with everything else?
Well, for a very long time, the answer has been pretty straightforward. It's the classic connector that's been the backbone of the internet for years: APIs.
An API, or Application Programming Interface, is really just a set of rules that lets different pieces of software talk to each other. It's the tried and true, established way that systems have been connected for ages.
Here's a perfect everyday example. Think about any e-commerce site you've ever used. They don't build a whole new credit card processing system from the ground up, right? Of course not. They just use a payment API from a company like Stripe or PayPal. The API is this perfect middleman. The website just has to know what to ask the payment service, not all the complicated details of how it works behind the scenes.
And a lot of these rules follow a common standard, something like a REST API, which uses really simple web commands. You've got get to retrieve data, post to create something new, put to update it, and delete to get rid of it. Super simple, predictable actions.
But now, there's a new standard showing up, one that was purpose-built for this new era of AI, and it's called MCP. MCP stands for Model Context Protocol. It's an open standard designed specifically to create a universal language for how apps give context and tools to large language models.
So, what does that actually mean? Well, the absolute best way to think about MCP is to imagine it as the USB-C for AI. It's this idea of having one single standard connector for literally everything.
Let's break that analogy down a bit, because it's a good one. In this scenario, your laptop, where the AI agent, is the MCP host. That universal USB-C port and cable, that's the MCP protocol itself. And all the different things you plug in, your monitor, your external hard drive, your phone charger, those are the MCP servers. They're the tools and services the AI can connect to. And the beautiful part is, it doesn't matter who made the monitor or the drive, they all just work.
So what can these MCP servers actually offer the AI? Well, they advertise three main things. First, you have tools. These are actions the AI can actually perform, like get the current weather or create a calendar event. Second, there are resources. This is read-only data the AI can look up, like the text inside a file. And third, prompt templates, which are basically pre-made guides to help the AI perform a task correctly. Okay, so we've got the classic connector and the new standard. Let's put them head-to-head and see how they stack up. This is the showdown, MCP versus API.
This table really nails the key differences. First up, purpose. APIs are general purpose. They weren't designed with AI in mind. MCP, on the other hand, was built from the ground up specifically for AI agents. Now here's the biggest game changer: discovery. With an API, if the service changes, a developer has to go in and manually update the code. It's static. But with MCP, the AI can ask the server in real time, "Hey, what can you do for me right now?" And it dynamically discovers its capabilities. And finally, standardization. APIs are like a wild west of unique interfaces. You need a custom connector for each one. MCP is one universal protocol.
And all of that leads us to MCP's really powerful motto: build once, integrate many. An AI agent just needs to learn how to speak the language of MCP once, and suddenly it can talk to any service that has an MCP server. No more custom code, no more adapters.
But here's where the story takes a really fascinating twist, because it turns out this isn't really a showdown at all. The real relationship here is about layers, not adversaries.
And this quote from the source material just changes the whole perspective. MCP and APIs are not adversaries. They're layers in an AI stack. They're not fighting each other, they're working together.
So this is what the modern AI stack actually looks like. The AI agent doesn't talk directly to the external service. No, it talks to an MCP server. And what does that MCP server do? It turns around and calls the service's good old-fashioned API.
The MCP server for GitHub is a perfect example. An AI can make a really simple request like list my repositories.
The MCP server then acts as a translator, turning that simple phrase into the complex REST API call that GitHub's actual service needs to understand. So in short, MCP is like a super smart, AI-friendly wrapper for all those existing APIs.
So, why does all this matter? What's the big takeaway? It's that MCP provides that single standard way to plug any service into an AI agent. And this isn't just a theory, it's already happening out in the wild. There are MCP servers today for Google Maps, Spotify, Docker, even your local file system. And the list of big enterprise sources jumping on board is growing fast.
And that brings us to the big, exciting question for the future. We saw how USB-C completely revolutionized physical connections by creating that universal standard. So as MCP keeps growing, you have to wonder, what is a universal standard for AI integration going to unlock next? What incredible new capabilities are going to pop up when any AI can seamlessly connect to any tool anywhere?